Okay, let's go through this together, shall we? Contrail, also condensation trail, or vapor trail, streamer of a cloud, sometimes observed behind an airplane flying in clear, cold, humid air. As it forms, okay. When the ambient relative humidity is high, the resulting ice crystal plume may last several hours. The trail may be just, let's look what Encyclopedia Britannica calls a contrail. And now let's see what they say. This is fun. Since remember, this is all helping the planet and everything, and these chemtrails that they were doing were to save us, right? Contrail. Written by the Encyclopedia Britannica. Atmospheric science. There we go. Okay. Okay. About 5% of Americans believe that governments secretly spray harmful chemicals via planes. Scientists state that they have never found evidence of government chemtrails and that observed trails from planes are simply water vapor. Contrail, also called condensation trail or vapor trail, streamer of clouds sometimes observed behind an airplane flying in a clear, cold, humid air. It forms upon condensation of water vapor produced by the combustion of fuel in an airplane's engine. When the ambient relative humidity is high, the resulting ice crystal plume may last several hours. The trail may be distorted by the winds, and sometimes it spreads to form a layer of cirrus cloud. Give me a fucking break. On rare occasions, when the air is nearly saturated with water vapor, air circulation at the wingtips of an airplane may cause sufficient pressure and temperature reductions to cause cloud streamers to form. Moving on, more on this topic. Read more on this topic. What is known and not known about contrails? In the 1990s, a popular conspiracy theory arose claiming that long-lasting contrails contain chemicals. Notice how they put it in whatever that is, that were sprayed by governments for purposes such as controlling the weather, which they've already said geoengineering weather modifications is real. This is such bullshit. Or dispensing drugs to influence the general population. However, atmospheric scientists have explained that some contrails last longer than others because of factors such as the humidity of the air, which can quite vary over short distances, and the temperature of the airplane's exhaust. Okay, let's see. Read more on this topic. Okay, let's read more on this topic. Because it's contrail is a short condensation trail, that is a streamer of clouds, sometimes behind an airplane, flying in clear, cold, humid air, which is a total oxymoron. Here is what is known and not known about these man-made clouds. What we know about contrails. Contrails will not form in very dry air. Condensation trails will only form in humid air. Condensation trails form by consequence two processes, combustion and condensation. Combustion is a type of chemical reaction between substances. Combustion reactions are almost always enzymatic. They almost always produce heat. In the case of an airplane, the substances that react to the produce heat are fuel in the engine and oxygen gas in the air. The reaction produces a byproduct, water, in the form of water vapor. Water vapor in the engine is usually invisible, but it becomes visible in high altitude, low vapor pressure environment. In this type of environment, water vapor considers to form liquid droplets. In the temperature, it's low enough, droplets may form freezing ice crystals. Here we go with the tiny ice crystals. These droplets and crystals are what form condensation trails. The durability of condensation trail depends primarily on the environmental conditions, humidity, blah, 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 and how long it lasts. When the ambient relative humidity, the water vapor, is relative to the content, that saturation is very high. A trail may last for several hours. Environmental factors account for the observed variation in the size and shape of condensation trails. Blah, 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 blah. What we do not know about contrails. It is not known what, if any, effect condensation trails have on local, regional, and global climates. Some studies indicate that condensation trails may contribute to global warming. Oh my God, they just said they were doing these chemtrails to prevent global warming. Now contrails contribute to global warming. This is fucking retarded. 2004 researchers in Hampton, Virginia found that condensation trails contribute to global warming by increasing cirrus cloud coverage. You've got to be shitting me. Okay. That's about... I mean, this is a contrail. This is what they're saying is a contrail. Look familiar, guys? Yeah. About 5% of Americans believe that the governments secretly spray harmful chemicals via planes. Chemtrails found evidence. Scientists have never heard of it. They just said that they did it. It just drives me crazy. I'm sorry. Alright. This is the editors of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Thanks for the lesson, you fucks. Now we know you're liars. Conspiracy Theory, written by Scott Reed. Last updated September 14th, 2018. Okay. Conspiracy theory, an attempt to explain harmful or tragic events as the result of the actions of a small, powerful group. Such explanations reject the accepted narrative surrounding those events. Indeed, the official version may be seen as further proof of the conspiracy. Conspiracy theories increase in prevalence in periods of widespread anxiety, uncertainty, or hardship, as during wars and economic depressions, and in the aftermath of natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, and pandemics. The fact is evidenced by the profusion of conspiracy theories that emerged in the wake of the September 11 attacks in 2001, and by the more than 2,000 volumes on U.S. President John F. Kennedy's assassination. This suggests that conspiratorial thinking is driven by a strong human desire to make some sense of social forces that are self-relevant, important, and threatening. The content of conspiracy theories is emotionally laden, and its alleged discovery can be gratifying. The evidentiary standards for corroborating conspiracy theories is typically weak, and they are usually resistant to falsification. The survivability of conspiracy theories may be aided by a psychological bias and by distrust of official sources. You mean bought sources. Okay. Exposure, this is effects of belief in conspiracy theories. Exposure to media that endorses conspiracy theories increases belief. There's evidence that viewing the Oliver Stone movie JFK increased belief in the conspiracy to assassinate Kennedy, and decreased belief in the official account that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. A further outcome was that, compared with the people who were about to view the movie, those who had seen it expressed less interest in political participation. It may be the distrust of those in power predicts and is caused by belief in government conspiracies. Researchers have investigated belief in AIDS conspiracies, the belief that AIDS was created by the U.S. government to kill homosexuals and African Americans, and attitudes towards condom use. This research has shown that more strongly African American males believe in this conspiracy, the less favorable their attitudes toward condom use are, and in turn, less likely they are to use condoms. There is also evidence that these beliefs lead to distrust of research institutions and are a significant barrier to getting African Americans to participate in AIDS clinical trials. Such distrust did not develop in a vacuum. Starting in 1932 and continuing for 40 years, the U.S. Public Health Service, working with the Tuskegee Institute, studied the effects of syphilis on American men. The researchers conducting the Tuskegee withheld treatment and allowed more than 100 men to die, despite the discovery of penicillin as a standard cure in 1947. It is clearly worth noting that governments do, at least occasionally, conspire against their own citizens. That's all I really need to know. You can read the rest yourself. It's in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Some fucked up shit right there, at least. I don't know.